1980. Doug Wikenheiser, Montreal Canadiens. Montreal shocked everyone with this pick. Most expected them to take local phenom Dennis Savard. Instead, they chose Doug Wikenheiser, a big forward from Regina, who dominated junior hockey. The Habs were looking for their next franchise center, but Wikenheiser never became that. He struggled to find his place in Montreal, played just 4 seasons, and was eventually traded. Meanwhile, Savard went on to have a Hall of Fame career. Wikenheiser battled injuries and inconsistency throughout his career, and tragically passed away in 1999 after a battle with cancer. To this day, this pick is one of the most debated in Canadiens history. 1981 Dale Hawerchuk, Winnipeg Jets. Now this one, it hit. The Jets were rebuilding and needed a cornerstone. Dale Hawerchuk was it. A junior scoring machine who stepped into the NHL and made an instant impact. He put up 100 points as a rookie, won the Calder Trophy, and became the face of Winnipeg hockey for nearly a decade. He finished his career with over 1,400 points, 5 All-Star appearances, and a quiet legacy as one of the best centers of the 1980s. 1982, Gourd Kusak, Boston Bruins. The Bruins needed a defensive rock. They went with Gourd Kusak. Big, mobile, intelligent. On paper, perfect. But sometimes, the body doesn't hold up. Kusak suffered multiple knee injuries, played just 299 games over a 10-year span, and never became the shutdown force Boston hoped for. Smart player, great character, but his career was a what-if story. 1983, Brian Lawton, Minnesota North Stars. The first American player ever taken #1 overall. Lawton had speed, skill, and hype. The North Stars thought they were drafting a game breaker, but he never quite found his rhythm in the NHL. He bounced between teams, never topped 45 points in a season, and retired with just 266 points in 483 games. After hockey, Lawton actually became a player agent and later a GM, finding more success off the ice than on it. 1984, Mario Lemieux, Pittsburgh Penguins. This wasn't just a pick, it was a resurrection. The Penguins were near bankruptcy, the roster was terrible, and fan interest was fading. Then came Mario, 6 feet 6 inches, hands like silk, skating like a ghost. Lemieux was hockey's savior in Pittsburgh. He scored on his first NHL shift, won 6 scoring titles, 2 cups, and became a legend. Even cancer couldn't stop him. Without this pick, there might not even be a Penguins franchise today. 1985, Wendell Clark, Toronto Maple Leafs. Toronto wanted toughness, leadership, and scoring. Wendell Clark brought all 3. A gritty forward who could hit like a truck and snipe top shelf. Clark quickly became a fan favorite. He scored 34 goals as a rookie, threw huge hits, dropped the gloves, and wore the C with pride. Injuries kept him from being a 500 goal guy, but in Toronto, he's still a legend. 1986, Joe Murphy, Detroit Red Wings. Joe Murphy was supposed to be the next great power forward. Big, skilled, fast. But in Detroit, he didn't click. Too raw, too inconsistent. After 2 seasons, the Wings moved on. Murphy bounced to Edmonton, where he finally broke out, helping the Oilers win the Cup in 1990. His career had highs and lows, and post-retirement, he faced serious struggles with homelessness. A cautionary tale of how brutal life after hockey can be. 1987, Pierre Turjan, Buffalo Sabres. Smooth, silent, lethal. Pierre Turjan was one of the most elegant passers of his generation. He put up 40 goals and 88 points by year 2 and just kept producing. Over 1,300 points, 530-goal seasons. But somehow, no Hall of Fame, no All-Star Game invites after 1994. Quiet production, quiet personality, but if you know, you know. Turjan was a machine. 1988 Mike Madano, Minnesota North Stars. Minnesota needed a superstar. They got one. Madano was a human highlight reel. Speed, shot, swagger. He led the team to the 1991 Cup Final, then became the face of the franchise in Dallas, winning it all in 1999. The highest scoring American-born player in NHL history, a Hall of Famer, a foundational pick done right. 1989, Mats Sundon, Quebec Nordiques, the first European ever taken #1 overall. Quebec gambled on Mats Sundon, a 6'5" Swedish center with silky hands. He didn't stay long, but the Nordiques flipped him for Wendell Clark, who was later traded for multiple pieces. Meanwhile, Sundon became a Maple Leafs captain and consistent 70-point guy, over 1,300 career points, over 500 goals, and a career defined by class, power, and patience. 1990 Owen Nolan, Quebec Nordiques. Quebec went back-to-back at number 1, and this time, they wanted edge. Owen Nolan was tough, skilled, and played angry. He wasn't flashy, but he was effective. After a few seasons in Quebec, he exploded in San Jose, scoring 44 goals in 99 and becoming captain material. More than 1,200 games, 530-goal seasons, and Olympic gold. Not a generational talent, but definitely a force. 1991, Eric Lindros, Quebec Nordiques. But not really. Lindros was the most hyped prospect since Mario, but there was a problem. He refused to play for Quebec, so the Nordiques traded him to Philadelphia in a massive blockbuster. Forsberg, Ricci, Hextall, Pix, an entire core. Lindros was dominant. MVP in 95, 70-plus points per season, a force in every zone. But injuries and concussions haunted him. Quebec, they used that trade to build the Avalanche, and won 2 cups. Everyone got something, but Quebec got everything. 1992, Roman Hammerlick, Tampa Bay Lightning. The Lightning were brand new and needed someone to build around. They chose Roman Hammerlick, a smooth skating Czech defenseman with offensive upside. He was solid, not spectacular, played over 1,300 games, scored 150-plus goals as a blue liner, and had a 20-year career. Never elite, but rarely bad. For an expansion team's first pick, you could do a lot worse. 1993, Alexandre Daigle Ottawa Senators. This one, legendary. For the wrong reasons. Daigle was billed as the next Lemieux. Speed, hands, charisma. He even said, "I'm glad I was drafted first because no one remembers second." Want to know who was second? Chris Pronger, Hall of Famer. Daigle struggled with motivation, bounced around teams, and never topped 51 points. He later said he didn't even like hockey. The talent was real. The results? Not so much. 1994, Ed Jovanovski, Florida Panthers, Jovocop. That's what they called him. Florida wanted physical presence on the blue line, and Ed Jovanovski brought it. He could skate, hit, and fight. And he helped Florida reach the Stanley Cup final in just their 3rd year. Over 1,100 games, 5 All-Star appearances, Olympic gold medal, a rock-solid career for an expansion franchise cornerstone. 1995, Brian Berard, Ottawa Senators, Ottawa again. But this time, the story takes a turn. Berard refused to sign, got traded to the Islanders, and won Rookie of the Year with 48 points as a defenseman. But in 2000, tragedy struck. A high stick to the eye nearly ended his career. He fought back, returned to the NHL with a special lens, and played 600-plus games. Never the same, but never gave up. Pure resilience. 1996, Chris Phillips, Ottawa Senators. 3rd time's the charm. Ottawa took Chris Phillips, a steady, stay-at-home defenseman. Not flashy, not fast, but reliable. He anchored Ottawa's blue line for 17 seasons, became the franchise leader in games played, and helped lead deep playoff runs in the 2000s. Never an all-star, but a true franchise pillar. Every team needs one. Ottawa found theirs. 1997 Joe Thornton, Boston Bruins. Boston needed a star. They drafted Jumbo Joe. It started slow, 7 points as a rookie, but once he found his game, it never stopped. Thornton became a playmaking machine. Hart Trophy winner, over 1,100 assists, over 1,500 points. He never won a cup, but he carried the Sharks to the final in 2016 and became one of the greatest passers ever. On-ice vision, off-ice beard, a legend either way. 1998, Vincent Lecavalier, Tampa Bay Lightning. Tampa hyped him as the Michael Jordan of hockey. That was a stretch, but Lecavalier delivered when it mattered. He grew into a 50-goal scorer, won the Stanley Cup in 2004, and led by example. Vinny finished with over 400 goals, a Rocket Richard trophy, and the respect of a city that watched him grow from a skinny teen to a franchise icon. 1999, Patrick Stefan, Atlanta Thrashers. Atlanta's first ever pick. And yeah, it didn't go great. Stefan had skill, but something never clicked. Injuries, inconsistency, and one of the most infamous empty net misses in hockey history. He played 455 games, just 64 goals. He wasn't the worst player, but for a #1 pick, he became the poster boy for a miss. 2000 Rick DiPietro, New York Islanders, a goalie, first overall. Rare. The Isles believed DiPietro was the next Brodeur. He had the athleticism and swagger, and they locked him up with a 15-year contract. Then came the injuries: groin, hip, concussions. The list grew longer than his glove. He played just 318 games and was bought out in 2013. But don't worry, he still gets paid $1.5 million a year until 2029. 2001 Ilya Kovalchuk, Atlanta Thrashers. Atlanta needed star power. Kovalchuk was star power: explosive speed, lethal shot, and pure swagger. He scored 29 goals as a rookie, then 52 in his third year, but team success never came. Atlanta made the playoffs once while he was there. In 2010, he was traded to New Jersey, where he chased a cup and almost got it. Then came the shock. He retired early, bolted to the KHL, then came back years later. Over 400 goals in the NHL, and one of the most dangerous snipers of the 2000s. 2002 Rick Nash, Columbus Blue Jackets. Columbus was still new, and they needed a face. Rick Nash gave them one, and then gave them goals. He tied for the Rocket Richard with 41 goals in just his second season. Big, fast, and deceptively skilled, Nash carried Columbus for a decade. No help, no deep runs, just consistent production. Eventually traded to the Rangers and retired with over 800 points. 2003 Marc-Andre Fleury, Pittsburgh Penguins. A goalie at number 1, risky. But Pittsburgh was betting on upside. Fleury had the reflexes, the smile, and the clutch gene. He backstopped Pittsburgh through deep runs, bounced back from brutal Game 7s, and helped win 3 Stanley Cups. Then came Vegas, and somehow he got even better. Vezina Trophy in 2021, over 550 wins, and still playing into his late 30s. One of the most beloved players in NHL history, and a draft pick that aged like fine wine. 2004, Alexandre Ovuchkin, Washington Capitals. Everything changed. Ovuchkin wasn't just good, he was a force of nature. Speed, power, cannon shot. He scored 2 goals in his debut and never looked back. 50-goal seasons became routine. He bulldozed records, flattened defenders, and celebrated like it was Game 7 every night. In 2018, he finally got his cup and partied like a god. Now, he's just surpassed Gretzky for the greatest goal scorer of all time. Does the Great Eight will reach 1,000 goals? 2005 Sidney Crosby, Pittsburgh Penguins. The lockout ended, the lottery happened, and Pittsburgh won it. Sidney Crosby, the next one. At 18, he put up 102 points. At 20, he won the cup. Smooth hands, elite vision, clutch DNA. 3 cups, 2 Hart trophies, 2 Olympic golds, and many more. The most complete resume of his generation, a true legend. 2006 Eric Johnson, St. Louis Blues, big defenseman, big expectations. Johnson had the tools, size, skating, smarts. But fate had other plans. A freak golf cart accident in 2008 tore up his knee and stalled his development. He eventually found his game in Colorado, a steady top 4 guy, but never became the franchise defenseman people expected. Still, 900-plus games, Stanley Cup in 2022, and a solid career. Not a bust, but not the beast he could have been. 2007 Patrick Kane, Chicago Blackhawks. Small frame, massive impact. Kane brought elite hands, elite vision, and cold-blooded clutch. He scored 72 points as a rookie, and scored the cup-winning goal in 2010. Then added 2 more cups in 2013 and 2015. Hart Trophy, Art Ross, 1,200-plus points. The best American-born forward ever? The debate is real. 2008 Steven Stamkos, Tampa Bay Lightning. Seen Stamkos? The ad campaign didn't lie. After a slow rookie start, Stamkos erupted. 51 goals in year 2. Elite one-timer, quiet leadership, and insane consistency. He battled through injuries, setbacks, and heartbreaks, until finally lifting the cup in 2020, then again in 2021 over 500 goals and counting. A Lightning legend. 2009 John Tavares, New York Islanders. New York needed a hero. They got JT, calm, composed, and NHL ready at 18. He gave the Islanders everything: goals, leadership, playoff hope. But after 9 seasons and 1 unforgettable OT winner in 2016, he left for home. Signed with Toronto, became captain, solid production, 400-plus goals, but still chasing that cup. A great player, forever caught in the what-if storylines. 2010 Taylor Hall, Edmonton Oilers. The Oilers' rebuild started here. Hall was explosive, emotional, and hungry, but the team around him wasn't. 6 years, no playoff appearances. Then came New Jersey, and boom, Hart Trophy in 2018. After that, injuries, trades, inconsistency. Now a journeyman with elite talent and a resume that feels incomplete. Hall had MVP peaks, but no playoff legacy yet. 2011 Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, Edmonton Oilers. The Oilers were back at number 1, again. Nugent-Hopkins had the IQ, vision, and smooth playmaking, but no help. He posted 52 points in 62 games as a rookie. Then, Edmonton stayed at the bottom. RNH never became elite, but he became steady, adapting into a two-way, do-it-all center. Over a decade in Edmonton, and finally a 100-point season in 2023. He didn't save the franchise, but he stuck around long enough to see it rise. 2012 Nail Yakupov, Edmonton Oilers. Let's just say, not every number 1 pick is a win. Yakupov had the shot, the flash, the swagger, but his game, chaotic. 30 points as a rookie, and it went downhill fast. Poor decision-making, clashes with coaches, no consistency. He was out of the NHL by 25, and is now one of the most infamous busts of the decade. The final straw of Edmonton's failed rebuild. 2013 Nathan MacKinnon, Colorado Avalanche. This one hit. MacKinnon had the speed and the fire of a warrior. After a solid rookie year, he exploded post-2017, becoming a top 5 player in the league. Fast, explosive, relentless. In 2022, he finally led Colorado to a Stanley Cup. And he didn't just win, he dominated. A franchise cornerstone and future Hall of Famer. 2014 Aaron Ekblad, Florida Panthers. Florida went with size and polish on defense. Ekblad delivered immediately. Rookie of the Year, 39 points, calm under pressure. Injuries hit him hard mid-career, but he rebounded, quietly becoming a key piece on Florida's blue line. Not flashy, just consistent. He helped anchor the Cats all the way to the Cup final in 2023, and won in 2024 the Stanley Cup. A solid pick who aged well. 2015 Connor McDavid, Edmonton Oilers. Generational. That's the only word. McDavid was faster than everyone, and smarter too. He put up 100+ points like it was nothing, skated through entire teams like it's too easy for him, highlight reels almost every game, won the Art Ross Trophy multiple times. 5 consecutive 100+ point seasons, that's insane. But the knock, postseason success. He dragged Edmonton to the Stanley Cup final in 2024, and this year in 2025. Now, he's chasing legacy. 2016 Austin Matthews, Toronto Maple Leafs. First NHL game, 4 goals. Matthews didn't arrive, he erupted. Elite shot, elite confidence. Rocket Richard winner, Hart Trophy winner, and the best Leaf in decades. He's already over 300 goals, and still under 30. Toronto's still chasing that deep playoff run. Certified face of the franchise. Face of American hockey, maybe that too. 2017 Nico Hishier, New Jersey Devils. A surprise pick over Nolan Patrick, but the Devils saw long-term value. Hishier brought two-way maturity and captain qualities early. He's not a highlight reel scorer, but the kind of leader every winning team needs. He became captain at 22 and helped lead the Devils' resurgence. He won't lead the league in points, but he might lead them to a cup. 2018 Rasmus Dahlin, Buffalo Sabres. Dahlin came in with hype. The most complete D prospect since Lidstrom. Early years, up and down. But by 2022, he broke out, becoming a point-producing, minute-eating machine. Slick skater, elite edge work, physical edge when needed. He's now the backbone of Buffalo's blue line, and still getting better. The Sabres are finally turning, and Dahlin is steering the ship. 2019 Jack Hughes, New Jersey Devils. The first few years were rough, undersized, inconsistent, and constantly hit. But the Devils were patient, and Jack delivered. By 2023, he was putting up 99 points, dancing through defenders, and smiling like it was easy. He's a highlight reel with elite playmaking, and might become the best player in franchise history. Small frame, big game. 2020 Alex Lafreniere, New York Rangers. Lafreniere was hyped like Crosby, MVP in the CHL, World Juniors star, clutch gene. But in New York, the breakout didn't come right away. Bottom 6 minutes, low power play time, constant scrutiny. He showed flashes, but fans wanted fireworks. Finally, in 2024, he popped in the playoffs, showing why he went number 1. Still only 23. His story? Just starting. 2021 Owen Power, Buffalo Sabres. Buffalo went big. Owen Power was calm, composed, and 6 feet 6 inches with elite skating. A rare combo. He stayed 1 more year in college, then joined Buffalo's youth movement. Quietly reliable in all zones. By year 2, he was playing 23+ minutes a night. He's not flashy like Dahlin, but he's the stabilizer. Together, they might finally end the longest playoff drought in pro sports. 2022 Gerard Slavovsky, Montreal Canadiens. This one turned heads. Most expected Shane Wright, but Montreal bet on the big Slovak winger with Olympic-level strength. Year 1? Tough. Year 2? Different story. Slavkovsky started using his body, finding chemistry with Suzuki and Caulfield, and finally playing like a number 1 pick. The Habs are rebuilding slowly, but if Slavkovsky keeps developing, he'll be a nightmare in the corners and a force in front. Still raw, still rising. 2023 Connor Bedard, Chicago Blackhawks. Hype level, McDavid tier. Bedard dominated junior hockey like it was a video game. 71 goals in 57 games. Chicago tanked hard to get him, and when they did, he showed exactly why. Smooth release, elite edge work, poise beyond his years. As a rookie, he immediately became the face of the franchise. The NHL's next golden boy just clocked in. 2024 Macklin Celebrini, San Jose Sharks. San Jose needed hope. They got Celebrini. Explosive, creative, deadly in motion, the youngest player in NCAA hockey, and still dominated. He's a complete center with a motor and a mindset. If the Sharks build this right, Celebrini could bring them back from the dead. He's already being compared to Crosby Light. No pressure, kid. 2025 Matthew Schaefer, to be determined. Projected number 1, Matthew Schaefer, a dynamic two-way defenseman out of the OHL. Elite skating, smooth hands, shutdown instincts. He's the kind of player who controls the game without needing the spotlight. Some scouts say he's the best defensive prospect since Aaron Ekblad, and more mobile. The draft hasn't happened yet, but teams are watching him closely. And there you have it. Every number 1 pick, from franchise legends to forgotten busts. New episodes drop daily. Hit subscribe, turn on the bell, and join the Hockey Explained squad.